This is great. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the webinar, Kaplan's webinar. And the topic today, of course, is the Certified Diploma in VAT. Just to give you a little bit of a housekeeping scenario, guys. I'm sure you all have a lot of questions. I've already instigated a chat by wishing you all a very good evening. And I am delighted to see a lot of response coming through the chat panel. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Thank you ever so much for listening or tuning in to this webinar. I am extremely excited to spend, I'd say, approximately half an hour or so introducing our latest venture. I'd like to call this my baby. This is something that I've been developing in the background over the last couple of months or so. Quick introduction. My name, ladies and gentlemen, is Amar. I've been working in tax for nearly quarter of a century. Wow, I mean, a long, long time. And I've been with Kaplan for over 20 years. I started my career with Kaplan in the UK, and I've recently relocated to this lovely city, Dubai. And yeah, last couple of months, guys, I've been, I run the tax department at Kaplan, and I am extremely excited to have developed a program. Effectively, it's a diploma in VAT, which has been accredited from one of our top institutions in the United Kingdom, an Ofqual accredited institution. I'll get into all of that later. And I wanted to give you all the opportunity to potentially enroll on this program and, of course, upskill as the need arises. So, guys, quick housekeeping point. If you have any questions, please fire away on the chat panel. My aim would be trying to answer as many of them as possible if I can this evening. Otherwise, I'll try and get through them and perhaps send out an email separately. This session is being recorded, so every registrant will get a copy of this particular webinar, all the details, the PowerPoint presentations, the contact details of the customer service team member at Kaplan, should you have any customer service related queries. And of course, you'll get my details as well, should you have any technical questions about this program. So once again, thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get cracking, all right? What is the VAT Certified Diploma? Who's it for? How can we all benefit? What is the idea behind this creation? So I have a small PowerPoint presentation that I'd like to go through. At any stage, if you have a question, please don't forget to use the chat panel. Type away, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll try and answer as many as I can. All right. So firstly, why did I think there is a need for VAT, a qualification in VAT in the region? What was the reason behind it? VAT has been around, as you all know, for a few years, but you know, it has been around for years, but I have noticed, having worked at Kaplan in the Middle East, I've had a lot of requests from a lot of people, some of them who are currently enrolled with Kaplan in the Middle East on some of our other programs, on the need for an upskill. They want to move into the tax field. They're currently studying perhaps accounting or some other related papers with us. They've all wanted to get into the tax field, and therefore I felt it was really important that I create a bona fide, proper program, an accredited program, offering candidates who are either not currently in tax and therefore looking to get into tax, or those who are in tax and looking for a refresher course, an upskill course on the VAT implications in the region. I'll get to that in some more detail. Firstly, I mentioned that the qualification is the certification is accredited. Guys, it's accredited by the NOCN. It's the Open College Network in the United Kingdom. It's a top 10 Ofqual regulated awarding organization. By the way, Ofqual is the regulator in the UK that regulates those bodies that wish to accredit qualifications in the UK and around the world. And NOCN is one of the top ranked qualifications. I am delighted to have Kaplan partnered with NOCN. We've worked with them in the past, ladies and gentlemen, and I've had to go through a rigorous accreditation process. Kaplan's had to go through a rigorous accreditation process to get this particular certification accredited with them. So I'm superbly excited to effectively share with you that our accreditation is with the NOCN. The diploma. So what's the curriculum about? Guys, this diploma is prepared keeping in mind the regulation and legal requirements of VAT. So just to give you an idea, guys, my primary focus is to try and get this diploma in the Middle East region, particularly the GCC countries. And we've designed a program which is specific to each of the implementing states within the GCC. All right, so we have a robust program in the UAE. We've created materials, again, accredited by the NOCN for other markets as well. That is our ambition. KSA is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Then we'll move on to other regional areas, Bahrain, Qatar, so on and so forth, as the need arises. So it really is a bespoke program for anyone in the Middle East region, specific to that region, wanting to either upskill or obtain an internationally recognized certificate, ladies and gentlemen, in VAT. All right, so like you can tell, I am extremely excited to introduce you to you all. All right, so really, it examines the fundamental principles and if you like, policies of VAT in each region as prescribed by the relevant authority. We have lots of flexibility in the course. So we have a live online program and we have a classroom program. So any student who wishes to enroll on this program, any learner, can physically do so in our, in our classroom in the premises that we have in DIFC area, as you all know, in UAE, or they can enroll for it online. So there is flexibility of choice, and the exams, ladies and gentlemen, are all computer-based. All right, so that's the other advantage, as it were. Right. So who's it for? I try to make this clear, guys. Anyone who is wanting a clear understanding of the principles and applications of VAT in their region. We have carefully prepared, ladies and gentlemen, our study materials. Now, I will be mentioning this later on. I have an open day coming up in September, an open evening, where anybody can come in, view the study materials. The study materials, guys, have been prepared meticulously with the VAT rules and regulations in mind, and each area within the VAT rules and regulation is constantly examined through objective style questions. All right, so every little area, all the key areas of VAT is reinforced through objective test questions, mostly multiple choice questions, but not limited to multiple choice questions. So you get an in-depth knowledge of the practical and technical areas of VAT legislation as prescribed by the relevant authority. I've already mentioned the fact that we have flexible learning options to suit your pace and style. if you're not sure on Kaplan, guys, I can assure you Kaplan is a globally recognized multinational educational body with over 70 years of experience. And guys, we've trained, we've trained over 40,000 students a year. I can tell you that that figure is mostly in the UK. If you look at our global figures, it's a lot higher than that. So we've around for 70 years. And this is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. It is our job to make sure that we provide world-class qualifications to anyone who is interested in either upskilling or obtaining a certificate. This is what we do, and we've been doing it successfully for more than 70 years. And of course, all of the materials that you will have access to once you enroll in the program will be available not only in the form of a hard copy, but also as a soft copy via our learning portal, guys, the LMS system, the learning management system that we have here at Kaplan. So it's a robust learning and teaching experience, ladies and gentlemen. I said this, who's it for? It's virtually for anybody who is 18 years and over. Yeah, so basically for anybody who is either currently working in tax. Guys, as you all know, VAT rules change, right? So as you all know, a year ago, there were change in the penalty regime for VAT in the UAE. So if you want to upskill, you've been in the VAT market, you want to upskill, you want to get a certification that you may not have already, guys, we have a really, really robust and affordable option now in the Middle East. So for any manager, tax professional who's either in the administration or in the field of tax, or like I said, anyone who wants a detailed knowledge of the VAT legislations and rules as prescribed by the authority. I've got lots of lovely questions coming in. Olga, thank you very much. I'll get to that in due course. And guys, the other uniqueness of our qualification is the fact that we will also be offering the certification in Arabic. So it's going to be in English and in Arabic. All right. So that's another. I mentioned the fact that there's lots of flexibility within this qualification. So there you go. Moving on. Just to tell you how this is done. As you all know, VAT is, I mean, it's the principles and the fundamentals of VAT, they're fairly vast. So guys, what we've done is we've decided to provide this certification, this diploma, and we've split the entire principles of VAT into 3, I believe, extremely manageable sections. And there's a full story to this particular certificate. So you start off with the fundamentals, the basics, what is VAT, what kind of supplies are subject to VAT in the particular region, what do we mean by a value of supply, place of supply, what are standard rated supplies, zero rated supplies, exempt supplies. So stage number 1 will have the basic fundamentals of VAT. At the end of each stage, just to give you a general idea, guys, each stage is 2 days long. I'll get to that in a minute. And at the end of each stage, you will do a progress test. In order to move from one stage to another, you have to get a certain percentage in the progress test. It's 60%. Once you pass the progress test successfully, you move on to the second stage. The second stage, ladies and gentlemen, focuses on, I'd say, the intermediate level, which is accounting for VAT. Once you know the basics, how does a business in the UAE, for example, or in the KSA, accounts for VAT? What is output VAT? What is input VAT? What if you are a business which is partially exempt? And what are all the various administration rules that must be followed by businesses in their respective regions? And I'd say even more importantly, what happens if you don't follow them? What are the various potential penalties? What happens if you disagree with a certain ruling by the relevant authority? What are the powers that you might have in relation to any appeal that you might have, any assessment that might be against you or not in your favor? So what are the policies, procedures available in relation to that? So guys, that is all stage 2. All right. And at the end of that stage, there will be a progress test for which you need to obtain at least 60% to move on to stage 3. Each stage, ladies and gentlemen, 2 days long. Stage 1, fundamental. Stage 2, you build on the fundamental and we move on to the intermediate area. Stage 3 is where we focus on, guys, the more, if you like, advanced aspects of VAT, such as transactions within and outside of the GCC countries. Well, how do you form a VAT group and the special schemes that are available in the UAE, KSA, or any of the Middle Eastern region that we are providing these courses in. For example, the capital asset scheme, the profit margin scheme, the cash accounting scheme, as it is in the KSA, and of course, what is the role of a tax agent? Big syllabus area, split into 3 manageable stages. Each stage is 2 days long. And at the end of each stage, you get to do a progress test. Remember, the progress test, guys, is made up of objective test questions. You need to get 60% to move on from one stage to the other. Really manageable. And can I just make this clear that we, in the program, will be doing a lot of exam standard questions covering each of the area as per each of the stages that you can see on the screen, right? So we'll keep examining questions after questions on each of the specific areas, reinforcing the rules. Yeah, it's a proper bona fide, serious qualification certification, and it is regularly tested at each stage. A little bit more detail, guys. So I just wanted to give you a little roadmap, if that's okay with you. Basically, the topics that I discussed on the previous slide, I've just put them into a timeline. Guys, stage 1, the topics are in blue. Like I said, 2 days, we cover those topics. We look at all of the various important issues within each of these topics in blue. We practice questions, objective style questions to reinforce the rules. And at the end of the 2 days, you'll set a progress test in which you need to score 60% to move on to stage 2. Again, the stage 2 topics are the ones that I covered in the previous slide. In this case, as you can see, it's in a light shaded color of green. Again, all of the topics, ladies and gentlemen, will be reinforced through exam standard questions. We'll cover all of the principles and the fundamentals of VAT in that particular area. And then, as you can see, there's a progress test at the end. Again, pass mark 60%, move on to stage 3. The advanced areas, once again, reinforced through lots and lots of examination standard questions, etc. And then there's a progress test at the end, get 60%. Then we have a revision day, which is on day 7, ladies and gentlemen. And on that revision day, we'll do questions covering all of the 3 stages, getting you all prepared for the important exam day, ladies and gentlemen. And after having done the revision day, so the revision day consists of a mock exam. The mock exam, you don't need a minimum percentage in order to sit the actual exam. A mock exam will reinforce everything that you learned over the 6-day program. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Once you've done the mock exam, you're then in a position to sit the real thing. Once you complete the real thing, ladies and gentlemen, you should be successful completion. You'll get a certificate that is issued by the NOCN, which is what I was mentioning. And I'll show you what the certificate looks like. A proper, robust program, lots of areas to cover, and we cover that in 3 manageable stages. The elements, just to recap. What are the options here? Face-to-face training, I mentioned that. You can come into our courses, so physical presence there. Live online options is available, guys. Don't forget, I mentioned this briefly. When you enroll on this program, you get effectively 2 things. You get an integrated workbook, which consists of all the policies, principles of VAT in the region, with lots and lots and lots and lots of questions. Guys, included in that workbook is an exam kit, or I'd like to call it a question bank that will reinforce all the topics that you've covered during that particular stage before you sit the progress test. All right, so you are well positioned to get at least 60% in that progress test. And the same journey is then replicated in stage 2 and stage 3. 2 days for each stage. And hence, guys, I mentioned there 3 progress tests, 1 at the end of each stage. Then you have a revision day followed by a mock exam, which covers all the 3 stages. And then you're in a position to sit the final exam and obtain the certification. So fairly manageable storyline, guys, and a really nice journey, I think, from the beginning to the end. There's an actual flow to it, which should suit your learning needs, I believe. I just wanted to give you a copy of the sample certification. I'm hoping you guys can all see this on the screen. Yeah, Anzam, that's a good point. I've just been asked, what about the total fee and expense? I'm getting to that. I think that's going to be a really important question as well. So guys, just to give you this is what the certificate will look like. I just want to make one point clear before we look at the timetable and the fees and how you enroll it. Guys, as you can see, it'll have your name on it. It'll say that has completed the following NOCN group accredited program, which we are delighted to have obtained. And where it says the certificate diploma in VAT, where it mentions the Middle East region, guys, instead of that Middle East region, it'll actually have the region where you've obtained the certificate. So if you're doing the certificate in UAE, it'll mention the certified diploma in VAT for the United Arab Emirates, in brackets UAE, all right? Because it's specific to the region that you've sat this particular certificate. Now, we're getting to some crucial points. How about the course program? I know that a lot of you are working, so it's very difficult to get onto the programs during the weekdays. So guys, we have a program starting in the UAE on the 18th of September, which is a Sunday. As I said, guys, the duration of the program is 7 days, 2 days for stage 1, 2 days for stage 2, 2 days for stage 3, and a revision day. For each stage, as you know, there'll be a progress test at the end, and at the end of the revision day, there'll be a mock. Guys, the 7 days are every Sunday, starting from the 18th of September. So it's 18th of September, day 1, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and every Sunday from the 18th of September. So 7 consecutive Sundays, ladies and gentlemen, starting on Sunday, the 18th of September, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I'm delighted to offer this entire certification with the study materials, the access to the tutors, the online materials for a really, really competitive price, ladies and gentlemen, 3,500 AED. And I'd also like to mention, for those who have taken the time out to register on this VAT program, and I want to thank you for it, look out for an email because we will be sharing the recording and this presentation with you all. And for those who registered on this particular program, you will get an well, there will be a little bit of a discount available on that particular course, and we will mention that on the email. So look out for it. Also, I mentioned this, guys, we will have an open evening for anybody to come in, have a chat with me. Any question that you have about the program, how does it work, what happens if I don't pass the progress test number 1? Well, I can tell you, if you don't pass progress test number 1, you'll have plenty of opportunities to do another progress test number 1 before you start stage 2. So you'll have opportunities to, in the unlikely event you don't pass progress test 1, to pass progress test before we start stage 2. All right, it's not that if you don't pass progress test number 1, you can't move on with the certification. That is not the case. All right, so let me make that clear. In the unlikely event that you don't secure at least 60% in that progress test. So it's really competitive. It's a really good price offer. And like I said, this price offer includes tuition fees, includes the study materials, which is the workbook, the question bank, all the materials that you will have access to online, and it includes the initial exam registration fees that we have. As you know, we need to register with the NOCN. So all candidates who register with us automatically register with the NOCN for this program, because that is how the certificate will be released. And the 3,500 includes the initial exam registration fees. Right. Who do you get in touch with? I believe Moni is on this particular webinar. So Moni is the person who is our customer service executive. She's brilliant at what she does. I have included her mobile number, her email address. And guys, you can follow us on a lot of social media platforms, as you can see, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I will also be issuing my email address. So if any of you have a technical question on how this program works, what happens if you can't attend a particular day, like I said, guys, the great news is that all the days are also recorded. So in the unlikely event that you can't make a particular day face-to-face, and you cannot attend that particular day online, don't forget you have 2 options. You will have access to the recordings as well. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities to making sure that you don't miss a thing on this particular program. And Moni will be able to assist you with the application process, with if you are in the unlikely event not being able to access a particular day or a particular session, etc., how do you make up for the lost time? So I hope all the details are clear. And like I said, this PowerPoint presentation will be shared with all of you, I'd say the next day or 2, all right? And the enrollment process will also be explained. So I'm just going to start answering a few questions. Just the important bit, and please don't apologize, Vienna. There's no reason to apologize at all. I like to tell you that the entire program is 7 days long. All right, it's 7 Sundays in the UAE. The first program starts on the 18th of September. It's 7 days in total, and they'll follow every Sunday for 7 consecutive Sundays, starting on the 18th of September. And the duration is 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it's a full day. And like I said, the 3,500 AED tuition fees includes all of the study materials, the question bank, and the initial exam registration fees. Yeah, Syed, you're absolutely right. The certificates, don't forget, it's not really issued by Kaplan, although Kaplan is branded on it. The certificate is issued by the NOCN, you're quite right. And it is something that you can have, show to anyone you like, add it to your CV. I can also tell you this, if your employer wants to know about the program, about the course material, what is it that you have covered over the 3 stages, all of that will be available as well. All right. I mean, you get access to the materials, so on and so forth. We don't have just one batch. We're starting with our first batch. So the first batch will be on the 18th of September, and you can watch out. There will be other batches available, lots of other opportunities of getting onto this program. So you're quite right. Our first batch starts on the 18th of September, but based on demand, supply, we intend to run other batches either simultaneously or straight after. Yeah, it all depends on the supply and demand. Now, also, this is a really good question you asked me, Syed. Guys, just on a slightly different note, I've just prepared what I believe is a robust VAT diploma. It covers every important aspect of VAT in the Middle East region. Let me just make that clear. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten the approval. All right, let me just make that clear. I'm also now working on the other big elephant in the room, ladies and gentlemen, which is the corporate income tax. So I don't want to mention that too much at this stage because this is a webinar on VAT, but we will be offering programs on CIT. I'm hoping to get them accredited as well in the near future. So watch out for the space. There will be some corporate income tax programs that Kaplan will be offering later on in the year. Yeah, Syed, so just to give you the idea, the corporate income tax is not hitting the region, UAE, till June of next year. Yeah, so any company that has an accounting period, or I say company, but any, if you like, affected business is with an accounting period starting on or after June 2023 will be impacted by the corporate income tax. But at Kaplan, we'll be running courses well in advance of that, preparing you for the corporate income tax as well. All right, so watch out for that. More details will be shared. Because you're registered on the VAT programs, guys, once we have more confirmation about our corporate income tax programs, we will be sharing that with you all. But what we're starting now in September is a certified diploma in VAT. And like I said, we are going to start it off in the UAE, because that is where we are based. And we are going to start off another batch in the KSA. Those are our 2 initial programs, and we will be rolling this out to other Middle Eastern regions as well. And like I said, the one in the UAE is going to be taught in English, and soon we'll be teaching and delivering these programs, ladies and gentlemen, in Arabic as well in the region. So I hope that covers those particular questions. So yeah, we've gone through the fees, expenses. Olga, I will take your question specifically. You've asked me an interesting question about the exporting of goods outside of the UAE. But obviously, you've said that the purchases are made in the Emirates, so it's made in the UAE. How will you correctly display the purchase in the FTA report? And I think you've even answered the question by saying, will it be displayed as regular expenses? Yeah, I'll talk to you about that. So don't forget, it really does depend on a few things. So I'll take that question offline, Olga, and I'll try and answer that specifically. So, you mentioned the fact that goods are going to be exported outside of the UAE, but then it does depend on whether it is outside the UAE in an implementing state within the GCC, or is it outside of the GCC as well? So the rules do depend, and I'll take that on offline, and I'll come back with a response to you as soon as I can on that. All right, so you asked me a really good question, so thank you for that. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Like I said, if you have any question that comes to mind, maybe not today, please get in touch with Moni. Please do get in touch, or get in touch with me. Like I said, we will be sharing this particular recording with all of the people who are registered. And because, as a little thank you for registering on this particular webinar, for those who enroll on the program starting on the 18th of September, there will be a nice little something in the form of a discount for you all, right? So look out for the email is all I'm going to say. Yeah, Ashley, so I've been asked, will the course teach how to prepare VAT filing reports to be submitted to the FTA? Yeah, there will be mentions on what the various steps are that one needs to follow in order to file a return. Yeah, absolutely. And I have to be honest with you, if there are any specifics on how to file a return, by the way, I'm the one who will be delivering the program in the UAE on the 18th of September. I'm the tutor for the program. There's absolutely, you can always ask the tutor if you have any specific questions on filing as well. So you're right, that is part of the program on how the filing is done, what are the steps, so on and so forth. So the administration side, which, as you know, is in stage 2. So when you get to stage 2, we will be discussing how filing is conducted with the Federal Tax Authority in the UAE. And of course, guys, don't forget, the penalty regimes have changed recently. So if you've done VAT before, or had a look about VAT before, or you're not up to speed about the changes in legislation, well, this is a good opportunity to enroll in the program. Ashley, my pleasure. You don't need to thank me. I want to thank you for enrolling on this webinar. Thank you for registering your interest. So absolutely. The processes of filing, the penalties associated for not filing on time, all of that is covered. It's an essential part of the program. The administration side of VAT is a very essential part of the program. And I can tell you, it is the bulk of stage 2. And absolutely. I'm sorry if I sound overly excited, that's just me. I wanted to introduce you all to this program. And as you can tell, it is at a really competitive price, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are interested, if you know somebody is interested, if you have lots of other questions that you don't want to ask me in the chat panel, guys, email Moni. Just send out an email. And if the question is non-technical relating to customer service, Moni will be able to answer that. If your question is technical about the program, about some particular aspect within the program, Moni will forward that to me, and I will make sure I answer that, guys. So please don't panic, yeah? And you have a little bit of time between now and the start of the course. The course starts 18th of September, which is what? Just under 1 month from now, all right? Sagita, I would let me be honest with you. It's been one heck of an experience to try and get the VAT diploma course up and running and accredited with a UK body. I must say, yeah, these things take a little bit of time. Now, to answer your question, Sagita, but don't hold me to it. It is my intention to run a certified program, or certainly a program on CIT, maybe November time. I don't want to be held to it, but my aim is to try and get something in by November. So watch out for this space. You might have a program that you can get onto with Kaplan in the Middle East, let's say around November. That's the plan anyways. Many a slip between the cup and the lip. So I can't promise you, but I'm hoping to get something in the calendar this year. All right, brilliant. Any other questions? Yeah, Syed, you've asked a really good point. I can tell you that if you want to discuss the payment issues, so on and so forth, like I said, send money and email, and we can talk through that particular exercise. Don't forget, there is, like I said, a little discount available on that price as well. I feel that price is really competitive. Perfect. Please do get in touch. And it's like I said, any technical questions, do ask us. Yeah, please do email me or email Monisola, and she will pass those questions on to me. Yeah, so if you have any questions relating to how to enroll, how to pay the fees, how do you get access to the materials, so on and so forth, Moni is your person. And I can tell you, this is not the last time we'll connect. I will be sending out, like I said, an open evening date in the calendar sometime early-ish September. I'd say a few days before the program starts. So I want you guys to come in and ask me any questions, look at the materials, see what it is all about, and then enroll if you want to do that. So there'll be lots of opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, right? I mean, I want you to have a look. Ask us any questions that you might have about this program. It is very important that all of your questions are answered. I mean, it is really important to me as a tutor, as a tuition provider, that all of your questions are aired, right? So get in touch is all I'm going to say. It really is a bona fide program at I believe, a really competitive price. Right? I don't see any further questions coming in. Guys, like I said, this is the end of the webinar, but this is certainly not the end of our communication with you. Do get in touch. It's really important that if you have any questions, we air that out, right? Really important. I hope you've got the general idea of how the program works. Yeah, 6 days plus a revision day. All right, that's the idea. 2 days for stage 1, 2 for stage 2, 2 for stage 3. Every stage is subject to a progress test. So there's a full flow to the program to your ultimate certification. I hope you found this useful. I'm just going to check if I haven't missed out any other question about the program. Indeed, that's a really way to put a really well way to put it. It's certainly not the end. It is just the start, Saeed. You're quite right. And I want to thank you all for registering your interest. And I thank you all for turning up. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. If you're keen, interested, wanting to know more about VAT in the region, about tax in general in the region, get in touch with us. We look forward to hearing from you. I want to wish you a pleasant evening. I want to thank you for enrolling. For enrolling on this particular webinar, and do stay in touch, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Take care. God bless. Goodbye. Thank you, you guys. Yeah, absolute. Thank you.